Hi, everybody. The game's over. The Cleveland Browns won 13-3. Boy, the snow was coming down there in the end, wasn't it? We have some comments. I want to put up some of the fans' comments. Yeah, it was pretty lame. Yeah. This is becoming apparent that Cade York is finished as a kicker in the NFL for Cleveland anyway. He's got an off season to try to figure out why he's planting the way he is and pointing the wrong direction. I have no idea. I don't know enough about kicking. Maybe somebody will come to this program that I can find who knows why this sort of thing happens. But the ball is going exactly where he's pointing. Whatever the hell that means. JB Hood says, a blocked field goal, interception, fumble, and still barely beat them with their backup quarterback playing. A win is a win, though. Well, it could have been a loss, JB Hood. It could have been a loss. Yes, this is, a real good defensive effort. When York missed the 2 field goals, the defense still came out and pushed hard, played hard. And that's good. Is it enough to save Joe Wood's job? I don't know. I really don't know that. What I think is that Rich Eisen sucks dick. To be honest with you, he hates Deshaun Watson. He's gone publicly on record of doing everything but literally calling him a rapist. And all the faux outrage. And now he has to call the game. And now, he's just the NFL's whipping boy. The NFL wears the strap on and Rich Eisen bends over. I have no respect for that man whatsoever. If you believe what you believe, say it. But don't say it when it's one message one time, one message another, whatever fits the NFL. You're a whore, Rich Eisen, and I have no respect for you. A Christmas miracle. Yeah. And there's no doubt the defense was who got it done. I've seen Huntley play a lot better than this before. The Ravens coming in were 4-1 in their last 5 games. And quite honestly, Huntley did enough to beat people. He didn't do anywhere near enough to beat the Browns, and the Browns had him baffled. Those last 2 sacks, he didn't know where to go with the ball. He was just confused. What can I tell you? Yeah, Denzel Ward finally made a break on the ball, but in his own coverage, not in a man coverage. And that's what a guy's supposed to do. He's supposed to step in and make a play when he can, and that's what he did this time. Whether he'll do it again, I don't really know. Don't say that. They'll think Woods had something to do with the win and keep him next year. I don't know if we can get rid of him, to be very honest with you. I don't trust anything this organization does. Maybe Cade is a flake. He's never going to complain again to Stefanski about, why aren't you letting me kick the field goals? Like, And, again, anybody who uses this as a comparison, they're only using their backup quarterback. No, Huntley has played a lot more football because the overrated Lamar Jackson is hurt all the time now. So actually, Huntley's getting a lot more time on the field. I expected him to be better than this. But honestly, their wide receivers are weak. And I'll say this, Baltimore Ravens suck. They're no good. No good at all. No fucking good at all. If that's the best you can summon, and now the Bengals are given life, right? But it really bothers me when I hear, those Ravens, what? They're beating bad teams, losing to a mediocre team like the Browns, who are in disarray. There's no explanation for that. You can say that. Yeah, I mean, that Tucker missed 2 field goals. Well, one was blocked, but that was a low trajectory kick. I mean, if I'm going to blame Cade York for all kinds of things, Tucker's second kick was a low trajectory kick. I mean, that ball was blocked on the guy's wrist. He didn't get a fingertip on it. It hit him in the wrist right here. That was low. Way low. Way low. Which is not as good as J-Lo. David Talevsky. Hi there.
Hey, Moo. How are you?
Well, a lot better than I was before the game anyway, although I'm none the richer for having watched it. At least we won.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, so I don't get excited about this football team because they've made incredibly bad decisions. They got to get real wide receivers in. It's too late for Kevin Stefanski to do anything with his scheme with Deshaun Watson at the helm. But you saw bits and pieces of the difference between Deshaun Watson and Jacoby Brissett and Baker Mayfield. And
exactly.
He gets rid of the ball, that quick release of his, the pass that he threw to Amari Cooper that was a longer gaining intermediate play that was right on the money. Just the way the ball came out of his hands to Donovan Peoples-Jones, not only does it get there, but it's thrown exactly positionally where it needed to be thrown to allow Donovan Peoples-Jones to reverse his field and Patrick Queen to run by him for the touchdown. All that drive was Deshaun Watson. There's a lot to look forward to with this player. Deshaun Watson is a real solid quarterback, and he is technically sound. He's working in a scheme that does not help him. And what's really unfortunate is that the scheme that he would prefer that would have him all the time in the shotgun is not what's best for our running game. Now, we seemed to at least get some of it figured out when we wore them down by the time the fourth quarter came around and Chubb started getting yardage. Here comes Bronk, who is visually represented today. How are you, Bronk?
Oh, Rich Eisen making him stand in the fucking snow and watch a team from Ohio beat. He was wearing a fucking purple tie and a purple scarf. The guy couldn't have been, he might as well have been a cheerleader for the Ravens during the whole game. And and his past comments that you alluded to earlier, I mean, he's just a complete douchebag. And to have him sit there and watch the Browns actually win a game while he's calling it, and he stutters half the time, and he was making mistakes, and Warner was making mistakes. That was an absolutely awful broadcast, but I'm glad that he was there. He can do every single game if the Browns win. I would love that.
See,
See, that's the main.
Go ahead.
That's the main thing for me. I always just watch the games muted and just have Jim Donovan on. Works a lot better.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel, I got Daniel Philak up. I was surprised they picked Eisen. No, the NFL did him a solid, basically, for him running interference. The NFL and Roger Goodell and all the people from the NFL couldn't come out and say the things that Rich Eisen said, which did everything, including calling Deshaun Watson a criminal and all kinds of things that were really totally unwarranted. Totally unwarranted. He has a problem. Yes. He's not he doesn't assault people. He doesn't rape people. And if you watch Rich Eisen's show, even though, and it's like on Suck My Peacock Network, they jam him on that piece of shit network. I mean, that guy has less skills than I have in broadcasting.
He's a
nothing
guy. He's a totally University of Michigan guy.
I mean, I looked at the whole thing when it was a story he was trying to make a name for himself, and he was also carrying water for the league. And this is how they paid him back. They gave him this a nice little game, and he figured, it's all going to backfire on the Browns, and it backfired on him because he's a talentless little biatch. That's what that is.
And I enjoyed
Hey, Moo.
it.
Yes.
I want to piggyback on your early comments. Nathan Segura said on the radio show that when you really exhaust the Ravens like that, they can just quit. And it looks like to me they kind of just gave up because the Browns just out-physicaled them to me at the end of it.
Well, let me tell you something in along those lines, David. You can see how easy it is for the character of a defense to change when they feel hopeless that the offense that they have can't get it done. And week after week now for the Ravens, they've been winning these one-score games and barely squeaking by at the end of games. And the offense hasn't done dick. And this sounds a lot like the Browns. And, I think that, after a while, hey, the Browns missed a couple field goals. They kept giving the ball back to Huntley. Huntley stood there and got sacked twice because he was indecisive, didn't know what to do. He was throwing balls wide on important fourth down and third down throws. He wasn't getting the job done, and he wasn't finding anybody, and he wasn't exploiting anything with his legs either. I would have thought that he would have run a lot more, knowing, and I would have thought that with the way that the Ravens were busting runs with Dobbins, they would have done more than that. But Huntley threw the interception to Ward. And when the defense sees that, it's like a big exhale. It's like a frustration. And I think that this happens to the Browns defense. It happens to every defense of every bad offensive team. If you're the Jets and you're saying, oh, great, Zach Wilson's back, it's like you're not going to play as hard. You're going to give up easier. And yes, the Ravens quit. They quit. They quit. They quit. They quit. And you know something? I'm so sick of the Ravens pedigree. They got no fucking pedigree. They got a coach who doesn't know how to call an offense. And, but they didn't have their quarterback. Well, you know something?
Fuck off. Yeah.
The reason they don't have their quarterback is because they have no offense to build around him, and he has to run the ball, and they have to count on him for 700-800 yards a season, and he ends up getting crippled. It's RG3 all over again. And I criticize the Redskins when they did it, and I'm criticizing the Ravens. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's not just that, but the fact is the Ravens don't even use their receivers with the scheme they have. They're just more or less decoys.
Yeah. So it would seem. I mean, but I got to say, with the one time they threw it to Duvernay, he didn't really look like he knew what his hands were for. I mean, he kind of looked like a crab.
What are these things at the end of my arms?
Exactly. It's like, opposable thumb? What are you talking about? I got crab claws,
Well, the thing
bad.
Is, during that game, the Ravens, why did they just keep running the ball with Dobbins and shit? Because they had to have between 150 and 200 yards rushing. And I'm sitting down here. I'm not on a computer. I'm on my phone. I don't have access to stats, but it felt like they could have easily put up 200 yards against the Browns.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm still here, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. I'm trying to boost your mic a little for you there, Bronk. That's all. And I hit the wrong button. That one was on me. So, yeah.
Believe it or not, the stats show they actually came close. The Ravens finished with 198 yards on the ground.
Oh, it felt like it. Why didn't they run the ball in the fourth quarter? Fucking Harbaugh's such an idiot.
Harbaugh says to whoever the sideline reporter was after the half, we got to make chunk plays. His chunk plays were his running game, and he didn't seem to understand that. I don't know.
He's an idiot. He's a fucking Harbaugh. They're all idiots.
Yeah, I guess. you know, yeah, Wayne, you're exactly right. We thought our guys were bad. Yeah, exactly.
It looked like we swapped uniforms. It looked like a typical Ravens Browns game, but the one where we were actually the Ravens and they were the Browns. You know?
Well, actually, Keith, uh, uh, Joe, I banned him the last time that he was here, and I don't know, his IP might
he
be
can't
banned.
come back then, huh?
Maybe not. I don't know how this works. To tell you the truth, I just got sick of the bullshit. I'd have been nice, win, lose, or draw. If we lost that game simply because we were missing field goals and our defense kept giving us opportunities, I'd be the first to admit that we would deserve to lose that game.
Correct.
But, I would say that Joe Shipley is a fair weather fan, and you got to live and you got to die with your team. And I say this over and over again, and that's why the fair weather fans all have gravitated over to other podcasts, is because they like the darker side of things. I don't. I kind of like the idea that I'll live with my team and I'll die with my team. And that's the way it works. And I'll be critical of my team if they don't perform well, and I'll give them credit where they're due. And I'll tell you what the nicest moment in this game was when Brissett got the sneak and the low five between he and Watson.
Yeah.
That you really got to see that those two guys
love
do
each
get
other.
along.
Yeah.
They do communicate, and that there are no hard feelings. And I think that's two professional football players. And
I'll tell you my favorite play of the game that I thought was great was like midway through the third quarter, like 6 minutes left in the third, was when Watson dropped back and he threw that absolute seed to Cooper that went like 16, 18 yards downfield on the sidelines. That was a pass we have not seen a Cleveland quarterback make in, I don't know, since I had brown hair. I don't know how long ago we've waited to see a perfect deep sideline route play caught and made and thrown right, tight coverage and everything. That was such a great play. Watson, once he gets used to Cleveland and our team and that, I mean, he's such an improvement as far as an athlete goes.
Yeah, and I'm just giving time for the fans in the chat room who deserve their comments to be seen, because there's only so much you can say about a 13-3 game that finished up playing in what, when you looked at it, quite a snowstorm starting in Cleveland.
The other thing I don't want to forget to say was that the NFL Network can go fuck itself if they're pimping the fact that it's the 50th anniversary of the fucking Immaculate Reception where the fucking Raiders got fucked over by the Steelers. I remember watching that on a tiny 10-inch black and white TV screen going, oh my fucking God, Franco fucking Harris is just beating the Raiders. And now they're making it like the 50th anniversary. They have to show this game next weekend.
Well, they have to, because Franco sure as fuck don't remember it.
Bradshaw probably doesn't remember it either.
Jim, what you were saying about Pokic, but what I noticed at the end of the game when we needed to get the yardage, we had Drew Forbes in as the jumbo lead blocker. Did you notice that? He was the fullback blocker, and I thought that was very interesting because they were actually clearing out some yardage. But I do also believe that the Ravens just lost their intensity because they didn't believe anymore. And to be honest, I'm amazed that they do as well as they do, having to come back and play for this jerk-off coach year after year. The organization has some great defensive players. They have a gifted quarterback, but Somehow the wide receiver thing through injuries and the running back thing through injuries hurt them, but they've got Dobbins back. And then when they are able to run the ball for almost 200 yards in a game, they still find a way to lose because Harbaugh just can't draw up plays. It's not an imaginative scheme. They just don't. They don't impress me. All right.
It's like the Chewbacca defense. It don't make sense. How do you not win a game when you run for 200 yards? How do you lose a game and only score 3 points and run for 200 yards? How does that even happen?
Only the Ravens would believe by adding a linebacker that was going to turn their season around and get them to the Super Bowl. Only that idiot Harbaugh would believe that. They got nobody who's going downfield who can catch the football except for Mark Andrews. And God, after about the last 7 times we played them, it seems like we finally figured out that he was the go-to and we actually covered him. What do you know?
That pass interference call really early in the game was absolute crap where they
grabbed his off arm, and you know something? You can't do that when you're a rookie. I understand that. The whistles really didn't have, the holds that were called on the Browns were holds. The holds on that first down run by Donovan Peoples-Jones was a clear grab. And so I don't mind if, I wonder why he felt he had the need to do that when Kareem Hunt was running away from him and he didn't have to do that at all. But, again, players in the heat of the moment do what they feel they might be able to get away with in traffic, and he didn't get away with it. It's, geez, Ted, chill out a little. I mean, he's like, fire all the coaches and owner, burn down the stadium, and torch the city of Cleveland, right, Ted?
Well, I think today's game proves that no one in the AFC North is winning a playoff game this year because they're just not. These are 4 mediocre to poor teams that we got in this division. It's not a good division this year.
Yeah, and that this is exactly the truth. Eisen, suddenly made Baker Mayfield into a Madonna figure. It was like, oh, the Browns have so wronged him. But no Rich Eisen saying, boy, the Panthers really wronged him. It's 2 of these for Rich Eisen. Like I said earlier, no respect. I have no respect for the guy. And if he were standing in front of me, I'd tell him, I got no respect for you. The reason I do this show and I don't accept advertising and I don't get involved with gambling sites, I don't get involved with people who want to make this on a bigger platform, that I stopped involving myself with networks. I was involved with networks early in, over the course of several of the years of 19 years of doing this program. And you know what I discovered? They all wanted in the end for me to tone it down for their advertising. Yeah. And I understand that. This is a money-making proposition for them. It isn't for me. This isn't why I do it. I do it out of the love of the game and the love of the team. And I'm emotional about it, and I will say what's on my mind. And the only way I could guarantee that I could get the unfiltered message out, like saying, suck my cock, and things like that, was just not to be associated with advertisers. It wouldn't make much sense. It's like, and this portion of the show brought to you by Ken Ganley Kia. Is that his name?
Mwah!
Yeah. It's like,
see you in a brand new Kia.
Where,
how about them Cavaliers, though? I didn't see the game last night, but I heard about it.
Yeah, where Kias are being marked down every day on the lot, and our girl will suck your cock and get you off in a Ken Ganley Kia.
We got hookers and whores down here at the Kia.
Oh my God! Shoot your load into her mouth. That's part of your discount. There's no way that I'm going to get advertising subsidies for this program. I pay out of my own pocket to be vulgar. That's what I do. That's the way it should be, damn it. You know, and I'll tell you something else, Redu. I think everyone thought Dobbins would run more, but the run that he had where Myles Garrett just decided he was going to run the other way on a play. Yeah. You know, Nick Chubb would have taken that to the house.
Correct.
I mean,
Dobbins slowed down.
He doesn't have that gear, and leg injuries can do that to running backs.
That's sad. I noticed that too. He slowed down on that play.
Yeah, and he didn't have that extra gear to kick into it, you know. And I agree with what Double P is saying. Winfrey, you know, played less like Oprah, you know, and played more like Perrion. And, you know, although he tried to do some kind of a celebrations dance with Myles Garrett, who lightly played along and then looked at him and said, I don't know you. It's like guy's hospital food wacko, folks. But yeah, I see Winfrey in the backfield at least, which means, you know, he's doing something. And Delpit made some hits too. Yeah.
Can I also
Alex Wright has shown out also.
Say what, David?
Alex Wright, he's done some stuff too.
Yeah, offsides and a really good backfield tackle. Yeah, Bronk.
Who are these homeless guys that we got at wide receiver that showed up and caught a few passes?
Baldwin.
I have no idea who they even were.
Yeah, Baldwin is one of the Baldwin brothers. Alec, you probably
Alec
know.
Baldwin. Yeah, he's good with the gun.
A guy who's off the practice squad out of the University of Michigan wearing Braylon Edwards' old number 17. That's who he is. And
wow.
And we saw him a couple of plays. He caught the ball, so we never saw him again. Kevin said, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing catching those? You're not trying to make me look bad. But, Coach, you've been suffocating me on the practice squad all these weeks. It's like, shut the fuck up and get back down there. Oh,
yeah,
my
that
God.
first pass was another great pass. We haven't seen throws like that in years.
Yeah, and the Ravens franchise will be set back 10 years if he leaves.
He's already hurt, Nate.
He's already hurt. And I think that Lamar Jackson will take the best money that he can get, and wherever it is, he'll want to go to the best team. Of course he will, because they all do that. But yeah, it's all about money with him. He has absolutely, if he has to go into his interviews and say, hey, the reason that I didn't look as good as I could have is because of that idiot Coach Harbaugh. He'll do it, and he'll get money.
Believe that. Yeah, they'll believe that.
Ravens, say goodbye. Say goodbye to Lamar Jackson. Bye-bye. Because you know who your quarterback of the future is? You saw him today.
Chet Huntley.
You can go after Mason Rudolph if you want to, though.
Wow.
Yeah, we won. Why so negative? I'm not negative.
Because we are.
13 points, won a game. And I think that in and of itself tells you something. And we had an opportunity to really seriously. I was really disappointed before the first missed field goal by York, or was it the last one? It was the last one that Watson took a sack on that play. I want him to drop back in a place like that where the ball was basically at the 26, 27 yard line. And if he drops back to pass, try to break one off running with his legs and then slide to the ground and make this more like a 40-yard field goal instead of bouncing it to a 48 or 50-yard field goal. He shouldn't have eaten that ball. That was a mistake. And, but I'm not negative about anything, but we have a problem at kicker. We really do. And it's not the holder. Yeah. The holder looks fine. The kicker is just, you saw how the plant looked. And then he overcompensated on the next one and pushed it right. He's lost. He's like somebody who is like roaming through an area without a GPS system. He just doesn't have a clue right now.
So I'll say on that, how much of that is on Prefer? Why is Prefer not coaching him out of that?
Yeah, well, I mean,
I agree.
the plant is so obvious that his foot is pointing exactly where the ball goes. I don't know what it is, and that could be a form of the yips. And if it is the form of the yips, his career's over. He's done. You don't have time. You got to move on. Maybe if he goes somewhere else, he'll be better off.
Yeah,
So,
I think he'd be fine at another team. Which
and
these
you know,
kickers,
for people who complain say, oh, it's a wasted draft pick. Well, Anthony Schwartz was a wasted draft pick. I mean, we waste draft picks all the time.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do. The only trouble with Andrew Berry is that he keeps all of his. He has yet to cut any of his draft picks, I don't think, for 3 years. So maybe he'll start doing that now.
And here's the other thing. The reason I do my own show is I talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. And you know what I think about World Cup? It would look nice halfway in your ass. Okay.
Wow.
So you have that going for you. I knew it wouldn't take long for somebody to bring up the draft. Yeah, he's not good enough for fourth round. It's like, well, Schwartz wasn't good enough for third round. And I can tell you in the past about people who weren't. Johnny Manziel wasn't good enough for first round, and Baker Mayfield wasn't worth the number one pick. You know,
Brady Quinn, Brandon Wheaton.
Quinn. Yeah. Oh man,
Cody Kessler in the third round.
Yeah, and you see how quick Watson is with his feet. You don't want him to use his legs that much, but he can. Very athletic player. And
oh God, yeah.
But you see, you're seeing him in the worst possible situation because this scheme was, I mean, this is kind of like an add-on that we're suddenly running, you know, shotgun formations. It's an add-on to Kevin's scheme. And as a result, this is not optimized.
Yeah.
That's better.
See Watson in Stefanski's scheme in the middle of December during a snowstorm in Cleveland is not the ideal situation to be seeing Deshaun Watson in. Let's be honest with that.
Geez, Tony, how do you really feel? You know,
see, that's the other thing about no adverts on this show is that the guests can come on and say, fuck Rich Eisen and not have any repercussions. So there you go.
You know, Renee's asking how I see it. Well, today was the NFL Network, and, you know, my the NFL League Pass is the way I watch. But, you know, it's all going to change next year, Renee, because this is the last year DirecTV is going to have the League Pass, and it's going to get farmed out to Apple TV, perhaps. You know, Amazon Prime will be another player in this. I'm
kind of fortunate being overseas that I just get the international pass, and then I don't have to worry about Apple TV or Amazon or having any Netflix, NFL Netflix or whatever they're going to do. Who cares?
Now, Double P, can we get a call from the old Browns radio guy who did the call-in shows? I don't know who he's referring to.
Pete Franklin?
It's one of my characters, not that old. He says, for the old Browns radio guy.
Nev Chandler?
No, I he's thinking of one of the characters, but
I don't know who he's referring to. So, yeah, if we figure it out, I'd be more than happy because I celebrate wins.
Peter Alice playing the game now.
Well, I mean, it would be something like this. Oh, Mr. Tucker. Oh, you've got to kick the ball higher than that now, don't you? That looked like a post-back surgery Tiger Woods iron. That's not good. That's not good at all. Oh, the man blocked it with his wrist. Oh.
Oh.
All right, yeah. Let me see what else we got here. The Bengals.
And what are you going
can
to do with
win.
your Sunday tomorrow? Are you going to watch these games, or are you going to walk the dog, or what are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy myself with rocks and just have a good time, because all these Sundays are so gobbled up that we don't get to see one another. She's off doing her thing because I'm stuck watching the game and doing this.
Yep.
This comes at a price, So, I don't ask for anything from anybody, but at times I wish I could just walk away from it. But, again, it's something that I do enjoy doing.
You'll be doing that next Saturday too, because they're playing on Saturday again next week.
Oh, are they really?
Yes.
What do I know? Who are they playing? Pittsburgh?
The Saints.
The Aints. Okay, very good.
I think this one's probably going to be like 1:00, I think.
Oh, well, that would be a little bit easier too, because this just takes me right up to the Cavaliers game, which is starting now. This is just insane. But I think that I've said, that's one thing, Ron. You're absolutely right. Brissett is the best sneaking quarterback I've ever seen. Hey, getting some pussy there, huh, Bronk?
Yeah,
Nice
he
cat.
watched the whole game with me.
Nice looking feline you got there.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's Denzel.
Yeah. Wayne Gold, technically, are we still eligible? Yeah, we're on what's called life support.
We're in the hunt.
We're not in control of any destiny.
In the hunt.
I can do Bruce Drennan, however. I love you, Browns. I just love it. Yeah. Joe Tate. I used to call Indians games with Joe Tate. And it's like,
that
ducks on the pond, Joe. Ducks on the pond. Yeah. I don't know who he's talking about, but I've done so many stupid voices in my life.
Another gravelly voice guy is Mark Munch Bishop.
Oh, I'd have to listen to him. If I listen to him, I can do a caricature of him. I don't sound like anybody, but it's a caricature, It's, but Bruce and I get along real well. And it was so funny. I would call him on his television program when he was doing All Bets Are Off. When it was Sports Channel Ohio or whatever it was, sports, whatever they used to call it. I forget the name of the network now, where they changed it all to Valley.
The Indians Network. I don't know.
Yeah. And, you go, and we're talking to Mark, and Mark's in Florida. And it's like, I said, I could do an impression of you. And he would just start chuckling, but I would never do it. And finally I got on and did my thing. And he said, it's great getting, an intelligent caller in. I said, I love you, Bruce. He about fell on his face. So it was just perfect. I really liked him, and I hope that his health is good. I don't know what's happening with him, but wherever he is, I hope Bruce Drennan is doing well, because he and I got along very well. All broadcast people. I mean, Hammy,
it's a fraternity.
For the Guardians, great guy. I mean, I love talking with broadcast people because, we all share things. They're just more talented than I am. That's all. All right. Oh, God. God. Is that woman going to sell you a Kia? Yes. She'll do whatever it takes to sell you a Kia, by God. Sports Time Ohio. Thank you, Rick. I should have remembered that. I actually have a Sports Time Ohio shirt too. And it's a size too small on me. And, it's really embarrassing. When I would put it on, I looked like I belonged on the short bus, and it was unfortunate. So I stopped wearing it. For a while, I actually fit in it. And I did a show wearing that as Bruce Drennan, and it was a lot of fun.
I must have missed that one.
I think everybody did. I think everyone did.
That's what I got on my screen.
Amsterdam. I don't have any hair, you know. No, nobody does Joe Cocker like John Belushi did. Nobody. All right. Well, I'm done. I want to go off the air happy and pleased. And we all got our way. We got to win. Browns win 13-3. It's a wonderful thing. I'll be back again on Monday to talk about the repercussions. And I'm going to have a nice day off tomorrow. And I'm going to check out the Cavaliers now and see if we can put together back-to-back wins, not only from yesterday, but back-to-back wins against the Dallas Mavericks, who want blood tonight based on what we did to them in Dallas. Just
they're not gonna get it because I think like 3 of their key starters for the Mavericks are out tonight.
Who's out, David?
Oh, right. Who's out?
Doncic, I think, is out, and so is Dimwitty.
Oh, did you say dimwit?
Dinwiddie.
Oh, yep. Which way did he go? Which way did he go? Okay. Good night, Renee. Good night, everybody. Congratulations, Browns fans. We get a win. I'll see you again on Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastureheads. Enjoy your football tomorrow and the Cavs game tonight. Go Browns and go Cavs. See you Monday. Bye.